Well, good evening. This is not a live stream, although the time is ready for it. We're gonna do a little differently. I'm gonna record it on a separate drive and post it up on a later date. The reason for this is because our internet is down. So I guess everything has to be done differently today. So good evening, everybody, for our semi-live stream. I'm Venerable Samanera, soon to be Nikama. That's the chosen name for my higher ordination. I'm going to do a very quick evening puja, evening homage, and then I'm going to give a quick Dhamma lesson. And after that, it should be time for PawAuk Bill, who will be helping to lead the guided meditation. Why does it sound like this? There's always something. Anyway, I'll be switching over to the camera very soon, so I'm just trying to get everything all settled here. Okay, so audio. That doesn't work. Can I do this? I haven't been feeling well. I've been a little bit under the weather. So I'm going to do some quick guided meditation. Sorry. I'm quick chanting into a Dhamma lesson. And we pay attention to time. It's currently 5:40. So let us. Okay, transition. Okay. Yoso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho sawakato yena bhagavata dhammo Supatipanno yasa bhagavato savaka sangho Dhammayang bhagavantang satamang sasankang Ime hi sakare hi atarahang aropite hi abhipusayama Satu no pante bhagava sucira pariniputopi Pasima sanata nukam dhammanasa Ime sakare tukata panakara padikan hatu Amhakang tikaratang hitaya sukaya Arahang sama sambuddho bhagava Uttang bhagavantang abhivatemi Swakato bhagavata dhammo Dhammang namasami Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho Saṅghang namami Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Tanggo pana bhagavantang evang karayano kitisato abhugado Iti piso bhagava arahang sama sambuddho Visajana sampanno sukhato lokavitu Nano taro purisa tammasarati satha teva manu sanang buddho bhagavati Buddhavara hanta varata tikuna piyuto Sutta piñana karuna hisama kadato Pote siyo sasanatang gamarang masuro Uantamahang tamarahang siratsa sinentang Buddho yosa papaninang saranang ke mamutamang
ปัตมานุสติทานังวันทามิทังสิเรนังพุทธัสสะหะสามิทัสโสวาพุทโธเมสามิกิสโรพุทโธทุกขัสสะกทาทาจาวิทาทาจาหิทัสสะเมพุทธัสสะหังนิยเตมิสารินันสิวิตันจิตังวันทันโตหังจริสามิพุทธเสวสุโพธิตังนาทิเมสารลังอัญญังพุทโธเมสารลังวรังเอเทนะสะจวะเสนาวัฏายังสาธุสาสเนพุทธังเมวะธามเนนะยังบุญยังวสุทังอิทาสัพเพปิอันตรายาเมมาเหสุงกัสสะเตสัสสะกายเนวจายาวเจตัสสะวะพุทเตกุขมังภะคะตังมายยังพุทโธปฏิคันหาตุอัจฉริตังอรันตริสังวริตุงวพุทเตสวากขาโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมสันทิฏฐิโกอาการิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโอปัญญโกปัจจตังเวทิตาโพวินยูหิติสวากขาตถาทิกุณโยกาวเสนัสโยโยมากะปะกะปาริยาติมิโมคะเปโตธัมโมคุโรกัปปทนาตถาริธาริวันธามหังธรรมหรังวรธรรมนมิทังธัมโมโยสาปภานินังสารนังเยมะมุตตมังทุติยานุสติตานังวันทามิทังสิเรนังพุทธธัมมัสสะหะสามิทัสโสวาธัมโมเมสามิกิสโรธัมโมทุกขัสสะกทาทาจาวิทาทาจาหิทัสสะเมธัมมัสสังนิยเตมิสารินันสิวิทันจิตังวันทันโตหังจริสามิธัมมาเสวสุธัมมทังนาทิเมสารนังอัญญังธัมโมเมสารนังวรังอิเทนะสาจวะเสนาวัฏยังสาธุสาสเนธัมมังเมวันธามเนนะยังบุญยังวสุทังอิทาสัพเพปิอันตรายาเมมาเหสุงกัสสะเตสัสสะกายเนวจายาวเจตัสสะภะธัมเมกุขมังภะคะตังมายยังธัมโมปฏิคันหาตุอัจฉยันตังคารันตเรสังวริตุมัตตเมสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยายปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยติทังจัตตาริปุริสายุคานิอัตตปุริสบุคาราเอสาภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆพาหุนายโยพาหุนายโยทาคินายโยอัญชริการณิโยอนุตตรังปุญญเกตังโลกัสสติสัทธามโสสุปฏิภาติกุณาติโยโตโยธาปิโตอริยบุคคาสังฆเสโทศีลาติธรรมะภวราสยากายจิโตวันธามหังธรรมริยานกานังสุสุทังสังโฆโยสาปภานินังสารนังเกมะมุตตมังตาติยานุสติทานังวันตามิตังสิเรนังสังฆาสหาสามิทัสโสภาสังโฆเมสามิเกสโรสังโฆทุกขาสากทาทาจาวิทาทาจาหิทัสสะเมสังฆาสังนิยเตมิสารินันสิวิตันจิตังวันทันโตหังจริสามิสังฆาสุปฏิปันนังนาทิเมสารนังอัญญังสังโฆเมสารนังวรังอิเทนะสาจวะเสนาวัฏายังสาธุสาสเน Sangkang me wanta manena, yang bunyang pasutang ita, sape pi andaraya me, mahe sung kasate sasa. Kayena wajaya waje tasava, sangke kukabang kakatang mayang, sangko patikan hatu wajayatang garantare sangwaditung pasangke. Now reflections on the 4 requisites. The first one is robes, second one is alms food, third is shelter, and fourth is medicine. Atsamaya pacawe kita wanyang jiawarang variputang tang yawa teva sikasa patikataya unasa patikataya tang samakasa wata tapat siring sapasapasanang patikataya yawa teva iriko bina patisatana tang atsamaya pacawe kita wayo binda bato variputo so deva tawaya na pataya na mantanaya na vibhusanaya yawa deva imasakaya satitiyaya panaya vihingsa varatiya brahmacharya nukahaya iti puranan ca vetanang patihangkami lawan ca vetanang na upatesami yatra ca me pavisati anawasata ca pasu niharo cati Atsamaya pacawe kita wayang se nasa nang variputantang yawa teva sikasa patikataya unasa patikataya tang samakasa wata tapat siring sapasapasa nang patikataya yawa teva utu parisaya mino tanang patisara narat matang Atsamaya pacawe kita wayo kirana pacaya pesasya parikaro pariputo So yawa teva upanana vajapatika nang vedana nang patikataya abhya pasa paramatayati. Running low on time, so I'm going to do a quick reflection on the 10 things I'm going to also say it in English too. Tasa ime bhikkhave dhamma papasitanang apinang pacavikittamam. Those who have gone forth frequently reflect upon these things, these 10 things. Tattametasa, and which 10 are they? Evaniyami ashubhagatoti, have I left the social order? Parapati patame sivikati, my life needs the support of others. Anyome akapokarani yoji, I must change the way I behave. Kachinukume akasila dona apavantititi. Can I fault myself with regards to the precepts? Kachinukumang anuvicharinyo sapramachari siratona apavantititi. Can my knowledgeable fellows in the holy life on close examination fault me with regards to the precepts? Sapehi me piehi manapehi nanapavo minapavoli. I will grow different, separate from all that is there and appealing to me. Dhamma Sakomi, I am the owner of my actions. Dhamma Tayato, the heir to my actions. Dhamma Yoni, born of my actions. Dhamma Bantu, related through my actions. Dhamma Patisarano, and live dependent upon my actions. Yang Kamangkari Sami, Galayanang, Wapapakang, Vatasatayato, Avisamiti. Whatever I do, for good or for evil, to that I will forbear. Katam putasa me ratintiva iti patantiti. What am I becoming as the days and nights fly past? Kachinu kohang sunyakare apiramimati. Is there an empty dwelling in which I delight? Pay attention to that one there. Atinu kome atari manusa tama aram ariyaya nabi sesu atikako soham pachi me kale sapramachari hiputu amaku pavi samiti. Have I attained the superior human state, a truly noble knowledge and vision, such that when my fellows in the holy life ask me near the hour of my death, will I not feel ashamed? Ime ko bhikkhave tasatama papasatinang apinam pacawe kitapati. These are the 10 things on which those who have gone forth should frequently reflect upon. And say a quick blessing to those who are following. I think pretty much they really have to reflect upon, so I have some time for a Dhamma lesson. So let's give the Sutta. So Paritta's protective blessings. I think I gave the last Dhamma lesson on that was regarding what's the magical ability of it, and the magical ability is that when we recall what it's saying, the purpose of it, then we can, um, as we fix ourselves, where we have alignment with others, other beings, whether physically or metaphysically, I guess you could say, and they help us protect us. So, um, I'm gonna give the Maṅgalā Sutta. I think I've done the translation of this. I'm feeling a little under the weather right now, so if I sound like I don't have a lot of energy, it's because I'm not feeling that great. So this is from the Maṅgalā Sutta. I'll actually do the whole sutta and translate. I do have some time before I go into my Dhamma lesson, so. Evamisottam ekam samayam bhagavasavati yam viharati sittavane arate bindikasa arame. Thus I have heard that at one time the Blessed One was staying at Savati in Jeta's grove, Anada Bindika's park. Atako anyata taratevata apikantayarate yang abikantawana kevarakabam setawana opasetawa yena bhagavatenupasamkami. Then a certain devata in the far extreme of the night, her extreme radiance lighting up the entirety of Jeta's grove, approached the Blessed One. Upasakamitawa bhagavantang apivatekawa akimantang atasi. On approaching, having bowed down to the Blessed One, and she stood to one side. Ekamatantita kosatevata bhagavantang kataya asapasi. As she was standing there, she addressed the verse to the Blessed One. Ahudeva manusa chamakarani ajintayong angkakamana sotanang brohi mangara mutamang. Many devas and human beings give thought to good fortune, desiring well-being. Tell me then the highest good fortune. Asevana cha paranang patitana cha sevana puja cha pujaniyanang netam mangara mutamang. Not consorting with the fools and consorting with the wise, paying homage to those who deserve homage. This is your highest good fortune. Patiropa desavaso japupeja kataponyata atasama patiticha etam mangaram tamang. Living in a civilized country, having made merits in the past, directing oneself rightly, this is your highest good fortune. Bahu sacha jasipancha minayo jasusito supasita jayawacha etam mangaram mutamang. Broad knowledge and well-disciplined skills, well-mastered, words well-spoken. This is your highest good fortune. Mata pitu upatanang putatara sasangkaho, anakuraja kamanta, etamangkara mutamang. Support for one's parents, assistance to one's wife and children, jobs that are not unfinished. This is your highest good fortune. Tana chatamachari yatakana jasangkaho, anapachani gamani, etamangkara mutamang. Generosity, living by the Dhamma, assistance to one's relatives, these that are blameless. This is your highest good fortune. Arati virati papamasa panaja sanyamo apamato chatamesu etamangara mutamang. Avoiding abstaining from evil, refraining from intoxicants, being heedful with regards to the qualities of your mind. This is your highest good fortune. Karavoja nivatocha santukicha katanyutam kanena tamma savanang etamangara mutamang. Respect, humility, contentment, gratitude, hearing the Dhamma on a timely occasion. This is your highest good fortune. Katijatsu wajatsata samanana jatasanang karena tamma sakacha etamangara mutamang. Patience, composure, seeing contemplatives, discussing the Dhamma on a timely occasion. This is your highest good fortune. Tapocha brahmacharya cha arya sajanata sanang nibbana chachikiriya cha etamangara mutamang. Austerity, celibacy, seeing the noble truths, realizing liberation. This is your highest good fortune. Uttasalokatamihi jitanyasana kampati aso kamvira chang kemang etamangara mutamang. A mind that when touched by the ways of the worlds is unshakable, sourless, dustless. It is absolutely secure. This is your highest good fortune. Etatisa nikatawana, sapatam aparasikha, sapataso tinkashanti, Bhante Sangmankara Uttamanti. Everywhere undefeated. When doing these things, people go everywhere in well-being. This is your highest good fortune. And I'm gonna, yeah, I'm pretty much gonna end the Okasa tawara ye nakatang sapang aparatang kamata me pante wanta me pante chetiyang sapang sapatata ne supatititang saripikanta tomai hapo ting potaro pang sangaratang ahang wata me tatayo ahang wata me sapaso Ye cetang matanatayang ahang watami sapata Buddha busamaha te savanto Dhamma busamaha panyo Sangha busamaha bodhabaho Buddhang dhammang sanghang sivitang yapa nipanang saranang gacchami Parisuto ahang bante parisuto timang Buddho dhammo sangho taretu Sabe sata sata untuk abinasuka sivino Katang punyang parang maihang sabe pagi awandu te Buddhang saranang gacchami Dhammang saranang gacchami Sanghang saranang gacchami Tutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami Tutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami Tutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Well, yes, I can turn around. Sure, I have the time in front of me. They should be coming in pretty soon. So,
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. So there was a reflection that I had been reciting quite a bit, so I can reflect upon these things. But it was quite a reveal when I thought about it, and it goes into something that I wanted to do a Dhamma video on. So it was the eighth reflection. Was it eighth or ninth? So eighth or ninth? Eighth reflection. Ninth reflection. Out of the 10. So when I was doing the 10 reflections and the ninth one, so Kachi Nuko Hang Sunyakare Apari Mamiti. So Kachi Nuko Me, Kachi Nuko Mang, Kachi Nuko Hang. So is there something that I? So is there something that I? What I? What? And the important word is sunyakare or sunya. The word sunyata. Let's see if I can even. Let's see if can I even do this? Oh, so this is brand new, so apparently I can do a text message over the same video that I have. So let's see, poly word. I'm gonna call this poly word. It's kind of on the fly. Sun. Nope. Any Pali word come up? Okay. Sunyata. Okay. Ready. It's not as intuitive, this thing there. So let's see here. Yeah, I have an outline. Yes, I have an outline. And outline size. And let's make this black. Okay. How does that look? Okay. Ready? So the word is sunyata. Yay, look at that. So I have to keep like fixing it every so often. Um, so anyway, sunyata is the Pali word for emptiness, but the Pali word was sunyatakare, sunyatakare, or an empty place. Okay, write it down. Let's see, sunyatakare, sunyakare, sunya, sunyakare. Here we go. Let's see. So there, look at that. It came up right on the fly. Okay. So that's an empty place. So the question was of the ninth reflection: is there an empty place which I can find delight in? So it's kind of why sunyata is why kind of brought up to my mind for Dhamma lesson for today was because I was actually asked last week by somebody who came by to visit, just some random person came by, was interested in Buddhism, asking several questions, and one of the questions was, what do you define as emptiness? What is emptiness to you? So the word of sunyata, emptiness, and when I was explaining it to her, I had to make sure I was correct about that. It's like, do Buddhists just meditate on emptiness, like nothingness? And what it actually becomes one of the misconceptions, especially here in the Western, not just in the United States, but Western philosophy or Western thought, is that we have this being that we are, and the after we pass away, we go to this um, high heaven. I guess like in an eternal heaven. That's what we've been told. That we hear a lot in the Western, I guess, Western philosophy. And also, or if you did well, then you go up to high heaven, and it's eternal. If you're not, then you go to hell. That's eternal too. And the Buddha is a little different about that. It's actually a little bit more in the middle. And I was explaining to her about emptiness. What does emptiness mean? And when I was going into that, I was thinking about how we actually identify ourselves a lot. A lot of people identify themselves, and they put a lot of value into their own being. So this, what we call Sakaya Ditti. Um, Sakaya Ditti. Come on. Oh, no. Uh, uh, yeah. Ah. Oh, no, like that. There we go. Satiety. So, that means identity or self-identification. So, I'll give you an example of satiety that people have a lot of. So here in the United States, can I move this down so it's not my face? Ah, um, So this is something that I saw a lot before I became a monk. And I had some friends. One of the biggest sports in the United States is football, and spelled FOOT. But if we're in like other countries like Germany, it would be FUTBOL. So that kind of football. And yeah, the same idea taught me because what happened is I had friends that would like really relate to like certain football teams, American football, and they totally identify it. And like, they would say, oh, we're playing against so and so. So here I'm living in the Northeast, and one of the big team for the Northeast. If you're a Northeast person, then you should be a fan. Apparently, you have to be lumped in with the New England Patriots. So whoever the New England Patriots are playing against, yeah. So it was like, oh, we're playing against the Tampa Bay, whatever it is, Buccaneers or like Miami Dolphins. Um, and so this idea as if like you're actually a part of that group, like, and then if there's a loss, like, oh, we lost, and there was such sadness because of the identification for it. So the identity view was attached to that, and so if they lost, one would feel it too. And this is just on a materialistic level, but still it can be applied to even your own body. So when we're going to die, as we've built such a long relationship with this body and the people that we know and the ones that we've grown up with, this we would distraction. There was a wire that was right on top of a candle, and I was like, oh no, almost caught fire. So a little distraction messed up my mind, my train of thought. So because of the attachment, there's such a value to it. If anything happens, this identity view that one had, one would cause a lot of suffering at the end. So when we were passing away, we build a relationship, or people pass away that we've had such a strong relationship with, we start getting really upset with the world. The 5 stages of grief occur. So there's always the anger will usually come first, and denial. The different stages, I don't know off the top of my head, but they do come. It's just part of the suffering that people experience. So whether they have something good or bad, they do experience that. So the reason for emptiness, I told her, was because when we look at not self, the quality of not self is not like just disregard and throw away something because you don't want to build a relationship with it and just toss away thinking that, oh, if I don't build a relationship with this thing here, I won't get hurt. There's actually a lot of people that experience that. I've done it myself. So the not self, the word for not self is this word anatta. It's like, all right, so let's say this gadget here. So suppose this gadget, it's really nice. I don't want to build a relationship with it because if I do, it's either I'm going to get hurt or it's going to get hurt because one of us are going to have to detach from each other at some point. Some people realize that, but they don't. They think that just by like, I don't want to make this attachment, so I'm going to just throw it away. When I explained it to her, is that it's not to just disregard. And some people have asked about that, like, oh, when it's not self, then they sometimes when they meditate on this not self, they look at their own body, and then thoughts of negativity actually come up to themselves. It's like they don't even like their own body at this point. And it's like, no, it's not to hate your body. And people have to use that first. Use their body to understand these concepts first. Once it's used, then they can finally let go. Of course, when you let go, you have nothing to hold on to. So this is where that word of nothingness, emptiness, would apply, because there would be no value in the end point of it. So again, if you look at it, it had this thing here. I toss it because I don't want to, part with it. I'm probably gonna build a strong relationship with this thing here. If somebody steals it, or if I break it, or drops or something, then there's that feeling, that the suffering, the feeling of pain, suffering. One doesn't want to get that. So again, there's the emptiness because we reflect upon this. And again, people feel like if they look at that word emptiness without fully understanding how we get to the empty part, they could, because they have such a strong feeling to themselves, they can look at it like, oh, is this all that my life is really for? They feel like it's not valuable. And we as Buddhist monks would not teach somebody to just look at their own life as it's invaluable. There's so much difficulty to be born as a human that it's not something that just throw away. For us to even become as a human, there's so many possibilities. So this human life is very highly regarded because it's really hard to be one. You can even look at just the DNA of our DNA of anything, any body, any living organism. Its DNA, complex strands of the helixes, of the ATCG combinations. We could be anything. I mean, there are so many organisms, and for it to be combined in a way where it actually makes a living being is difficult. It's really hard to become that. So we are not telling one that, oh, you're not somebody who's just going to be born and you have nothing to live for, so just toss it. Again, looking at that psychiatry, no, it's not to get rid of that. It's not to get rid of that at all. And it's not to see devalue in the human body, but it's to see for what it is for now, while you can understand it for now. And that's the part I felt like there was some explanation that had to be explained to her. But the reason for that reflection, when I was going through it, clicked through that question when I was explaining to the young lady who asked about what we thought of the word emptiness and how we perceived it and taught it, that is because of the value to this identity view that we have, that we hold strongly, that when we don't understand the next life and the next life after that and so forth, if we totally just believe in like an eternity, then yes, identity view is going to be held on very strongly. But if we can see that it's a constant stream of conscious experiences from different forms, life forms that we can become. Of course, we're now as a human, we're not sure what life form we are from before. Of course, this does take for some people to kind of see if that's even true or not, but some people can. There have been studies of kids who would actually recall past lives like to the detail, and they weren't even Buddhist. So that's like a form of evidence. Some people don't like that as evidence. It's anecdotal, like they can call it. It's not proven, they can say. But when you have a lot of kids that are saying this and they never experienced anything like that, and they just blurt out like, I was a World War II pilot flying this type of plane, and this was my friend who was whoever it was there, and you look it up and verify. It's like, I think that might lead to something. But anyway, I'm kind of digressing. So again, this is the reflection I had. Kachi no kohan sunyakare aparimatiti. Sunyakare is an empty dwelling. So what is the empty place or empty dwelling in which I delight? So the last word is aparamimati. It's apari mamiti, that I take enjoyment in and amuse myself with, you can say. And those who've been doing some guided meditation with us probably understand that it's very easy for us to fall asleep even, or just lose interest with just breathing in and out. So we have to do some things to make it very interesting. And so that in our own mind, as we start seeing the different khandhas and even ourself, we can say, uh, if we see that in the end it's going to be empty, and we realize that, oh, that's an empty dwelling in which I can delight. You kind of think about it, it's like, oh, that's interesting. So I was thinking about that during a reflection. I was like, do I delight in just myself? Um, Meaning, can I amuse myself with just myself? I mean, does that mean that I'm gonna have to like start hearing voices in my head? But no, it's not that. It's when we're meditating and clearing our mind of thoughts, it becomes empty. Can we enjoy that? So can you enjoy yourself? Basically, it's almost like asking that. And I looked at it and I was like, that's a very interesting thing to reflect upon. Because in the end, do I reflect upon that, or am I gonna, bust out the phone and start, going through YouTube and listening to Dhamma talks or watching some documentaries to, get information about, you know, uh, ancient civilizations and things that like I find entertaining that way, or things about like the history of our art and how it mingled with Buddhist culture, even the history of different religions, and am I entertaining myself that way? Am I getting entertainment outside? Am I amusing myself out from outside sources, or am I going to look from within? So it's really important when you look at that word, with that reflection for me as a monastic, but also you can look at it for yourself as well. Because those 10 reflections are for those who have gone forth to frequently reflect upon. But when you look at it, if you are practicing earnestly, for those who have been following along, if you're practicing, then you kind of are wanting to go forth because you're looking for a way to end suffering. You notice that there is some suffering. Something is causing suffering. The word suffering would be dukkha. Dukkha being um, pain, dejection, um, lamentation, distress. All of those things are go lumped in together with dukkha or dukkha. Our D's are pronounced, the Laos and Thai pronounce it almost like a T, so dukkha and dukkha. The Thais, Laos, would actually get rid of the A and it would just go tuk. So that last A part, they don't pronounce it, so it's tuk. So they'll say that. Anyway, I'm digressing again. So this is the whole thing about being empty. When we are, as we meditate and start using the techniques that have been going around, as one is earnestly trying to relieve ourselves of the suffering caused by this craving to search for things outside of oneself to fulfill. And so as we're searching for things, where this is like a craving. It's the word for craving is tanha. And tanha, or craving, is quite literally means thirst. So we thirst. So that is a strong craving when one is thirsty. Um, tanha. Let's see. There we go. So that's the word for thirst or craving. So we crave for things. So I was explaining again. I I crave to go on YouTube and find documentaries and just fill my mind up with different perspectives on the history of Buddhism, so I can learn more about it, so I can be proficient as well. And sometimes I do delay my meditation and push it off to the side for, an hour or two or three or four maybe. Sometimes it just keeps going. And I was like, all right, time to stop. Let's just practice. So there are times where I do just put things away and you practice. And when you're practicing hard, you can get a little bit under the weather. And you can hurt, you can stress yourself out. But when you do notice that these thoughts are this drive to find something outside of oneself to fulfill something that you can't seem to be fulfilling or fulfilled at all, like unquenchable, hot thirst, it's unquenchable, then um, it, we realize where it's coming from. When it ceases, or it feels like it ceases, it feels really good. And if there is a moment where we can actually notice it, where our thoughts stop craving for whatever it is, and then we can start being mindful of it, that's where it's like, oh, is that what it is? And so you strive. It's a different type of striving. So it's with people confuse the word tanha with this thirst, is craving. It seeing that all craving is bad, but there is a form of craving, a skillful craving. What's the skillful word? Craving. Uh, Junda? Is it Junda? Junda? Skillful craving. Skillful craving. Almost positive. I have to look it up. Of course, I don't have internet right now, so I'm trying to find that word. Kusala. Kusala is skillful, but there's like a one word that a lot of Buddhist monks they use for skillful craving. But it's almost like a resolution, like one is trying to resolve to do something and achieve something without like this ego attached to it. So let me give you an example. Okay, so you almost like rivals. Okay, so you have a rival. Okay, you're both racing, and this. Oh no, I'm gonna use Arnold Schwarzenegger because he's one of my biggest fans. I was a big fan of him. So Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, so I used to be a gym rat. Doesn't look anything like that right now, but um, so when I look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's like I want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or like this craving of I want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but how and why. So if one is unskillful in it, and you only look at only the muscular part of what makes him him, then like it starts to become this craving that just snowballs as an effect. But you look at it as like, oh, you know what? His It's not just his physique, but even if his lifestyle of food that he would eat, that would be part of that. So you're looking at beyond just the muscle part now. So there's a craving that's more skillful, that is just like an achievement, trying to achieve something that's higher, that we know there's something less than, but we want to achieve it. That's higher, that is a better placement, and that would be kind of fruitless. Like if I were to try to be like Arnold and be like this, the next Mr. Olympia back then, I would, as a gym rat, I would, my friends did, want to do, they introduced like creatine, which I didn't take, but they would do that, and then like all of us would get muscle. Some friends I knew did dabble in, anabolics. So, steroids, and it would like get so muscular and jacked, and I'm over here like trying to, I always knew I always had a very fast metabolism, so it was hard for me to gain a lot of muscle. So I was, I'm 5'11" at the time. Now I'm 5'10", almost 5'9", shrinking from sitting so much. Um, but it was the the trying to become like Arnold unskillfully would be like that craving, which would cause suffering, getting all muscles, and then the side effects of having to get those steroids or whatever it was to try to keep that physique and all that without really understanding it fully. So as me as a person, like I said, I was very fast metabolism. I was, short or tall with very lanky, and I was sometimes no more than 145, 150. It took me a long time, almost like 2.5 years of just like hitting the gym plus eating like really badly so I can just gain weight. I ate like a bunch of, Burger King and all that stuff there, just like just yeah, like high calories. I was eating so many calories. Just I would go to buffets and just like go to town with the buffets, and I just wouldn't gain weight. While my friends were just like popping out like big muscles and everything like that. I'm like, oh man. So again, that's like there's a skillful side where we are skillfully craving something, then the that skillful craving leads to more wisdom, more understanding. So I totally digressed about that, but that I was trying to lead into the third. I think that Bill. I think that's Bill. So I was leading into the third precept, the third noble truth, which is cease in suffering. So suffering ceases when it ends. So as our mind is chasing after something, we can slow those thoughts down or even have it cease for a moment without getting bored through skillful concentration, samadhi. Then it's something that we want to strive for. As Buddha said, it is possible. So if we can just notice a glimpse of it, then yes, we try to keep going. And the last noble truth is there's a system, a systematic way of getting it, and it just no matter which part of the eightfold path they get on. Usually it starts with right view, but some people will start off with just right action and just go from there, just snowball, and it will feed each other. Each step feeds each other to one's success. So that's the idea of well, far off, far away from it. But that's kind of the idea of emptiness, dwelling in one's own mind when it ceases to think so much. Naturally, not trying to will it to say stop thinking, but noticing it and then preventing this craving from keep going up, so that searching over and over causing more suffering. That's the empty dwelling that one can delight in, finding it within itself rather than outside. So that is not just like a physical dwelling, like where do we dwell, where does our mind dwell? That's the mental part. Where can we also dwell? So that can also be used for monks when they go out. I do it quite frequently. I'll go to like a cemetery. When I go on my homes round, I'll find a cemetery or park and find woods or something like that and just hide. Hide from other people, don't get interrupted. I just eat the food, mindfully eating, and then after I'm done, I come out. After I'm done eating, I'll meditate some more on the food that's been given and on the practice itself and just meditating, practicing meditation. So that's, that aspect on the physical side, that's an empty dwelling that I can delight in. But when you look at the mental aspect, we can dwell in our minds. People can dwell in their own minds. So if it's an empty dwelling, do you delight in it? And some people don't like the chatter in their minds at first, but the more you practice, you can't will your mind to stop. thinking, it will think. But you can allow for it. You have to be mindful to not attach to those things and then keep going back to something very boring, such as breathing in and out. And then thoughts or thinking ceases. And then suffering will cease as well. So that's the emptiness that you get because you're not attaching to something. The Sakkaya Ditthi, this identity view. If we can let that go, emptiness occurs. You can find delight in that. So maybe this can be used to reflect upon as well for you. And may you succeed in your meditation practices and all the techniques that are available besides just breathing in and out, the samatha meditation. But use all techniques that are available for your personality type. And may you attain the serene happiness, the serene bliss, and liberation of Nibbana. So may you all be well. May you all be happy. Satu. I have the speakers on louder because they can hear you, but I don't think many people were able to hear you when you were talking. Yeah, because the speakers weren't loud. So hopefully this will help you out. So I'm gonna push this over to now guided meditation. But you can go ahead and take it from there. Let's transition over.
I'm hoping this isn't costing things. Check one, two, three. Check one, check one. Check one, two. Check one, two. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, that sounds okay. Yeah. All right.
You don't have internet here, so I'm doing a recording.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to
Yeah. I saw on Amazon there's like a single person sitting tent. It's meant to put like a camping chair inside of it, but you could put a cushion inside of it too. I was thinking of something like that to go to like Lincoln Woods or something.
yeah, and it has a mosquito in it.
Yeah, it's like totally closed. Yeah. This is 20 minutes.
You saw the
I don't remember. It's big enough to put a camping chair in it and sit up in a camping chair. So if it's big enough for that, then clearly it's big enough to just sit on a cushion on the floor and stuff. But it's only wide enough just for you. It's I think it's meant to like if you're camping, you want to sit outside, there's too many mosquitoes or something like that. It's definitely not like a sleeping tent or anything like that. It's almost maybe I guess it is more like a chair tent or chair cover or something. I don't remember how much it costs, but if I'm gonna go inside. Otherwise, I'm tempted to like swat mosquitoes.
I got all over to get them good. I was in a lot of pain. I was like, I was not in my mind to really go out there and put myself in a situation. What I did, I just meditated for a while and a lot of I was like, I think they got me. I live right here, my temple, my lip, like right on my lip, like, on my nose, because my nose, I just gotta cover up. I mean, what these the robes are for, is I just gonna cover my nose, my mouth, like that. They're still getting, this is thin, this is like, yeah. I was like, oh, I was like, you know what? Eat my food. I was like, even spraying the bug spray. Yeah, like, oh yeah, dude. They haven't eaten so long. I'm still big giant bump right here in my head.
So there a story, I don't know if it was from the Jataka Tales, but in one of Buddha's Sakyamuni's previous births, he like fed himself on a tiger, like he gave himself as food to a tiger's cubs or something.
Yeah, there's I'm not sure it was part of Jataka Tales, but I remember seeing it. Yeah, usually like, if he did get himself up to the rabbit,
Yeah.
I think he gave himself up to I don't think it was a snake. Um, I think that's what it was. It's like to make the snake happy, then he gave the food and just maybe I should do that. I think that was the one. I have to double check. And now, very interesting. Yeah, I had thought about that. Kind of, it did occur to me. That's why when I thought about like I was like, alright, my first thing, like, alright, I don't know if I told you, I was meditating on spider. And I was like, it wasn't something I hated. It was like, my middle thing, the neutral part. It's like a spider. Okay, so I was climbing up on him, and I was chanting, I was meditating, and I was right there, I was ready to swat, just flick it off. Like that, flick off, flick it off. And I was like, oh, this is not too much. So I went to meditate and talk, and I was like, thinking about my life. So, yeah, clearly, well, that I keep this off. Oh, I was like, I'm hungry. But this thing's hungry too. As I started like really being compassionate, and saying, no, I'm hungry. This thing's hungry too, looking for food to eat. Like, you want blood? And I was like, flip it off. And I started kind of relating to that, just because it looks scary and gross in a way. Like, who am I? I'm like, by just as small as the spider. And the spider wraps itself around me. My thoughts, like, my mind was going crazy. I was like, oh, it's gonna eat them. I feel, for some reason, I could feel like the hair, but I was like, the wheels, my mind, telling me this before. Like, when I didn't have any skill at all, so I was like, this isn't working. But it was my mind was still tricked out. I've always had this aversion to things that are superhero.
Yeah.
So it's like, um, when I saw that my mind, that like passion says like, oh, you know what, just give it. Fine, here. Well, you want, let's take it from here. But I was like, you know what, I'm safe. Because I know it's my mind, but you really want to hear yourself. And I,
when I did that, my
my
whole perspective
perspective
changed
changed
ever
ever
since I
since
did that. It's like, okay,
okay,
I guess
this
it's
is
not
not
related to
related to
these
these
other
other
things
things
now.
now.
And I
And I
used
used
it
it
from
from
there
there,
to
then to
see if
see
I
if I
could
could
relate to these
relate to these things
things whenever
whenever
I
I
have
have
this
this
very
very
strong
strong
urge
version
coming
coming
up,
up,
like
very
like
like
when I
yeah,
get
yeah,
very
very
irritated or
irritated
I
or
don't like
like
something.
something.
Like I try to
Try to
get in
get
his shoes a little bit and
and
see if it
see if it
works.
works.
And it kind of
Kind
does
of
help
does
me
help me
change my
change my
perspective.
perspective.
Um, uh,
I
I don't know
don't
how
know
much
how
it
much it
really is
really is.
working, but it feels good.
Well, I think everything you're doing on the cushion is training for when you're off the cushion. The thing is, you're building those new connections. You're building those new habits of thought. So it's, I mean, it's real. It's. All right. So
That's
there's nobody. Are we going to do an instruction or just?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you
well,
can
you can
instruct
instruct
in because
because
it's
it's
the
the
videos,
video,
so we can still be recording, but we can meditate in each other's presence.
Okay.
Um,
So all right.
and
Trying to think, is there anything I would say? I would still want to do chanting, combining. Just share some thoughts that I've been reflecting on some teachings from one of my teachers. I think I mentioned it last week too. But from her and from others, and I think you may have alluded to something like this too before, but like if you view your meditation as like a laboratory and you're just here to sort of observe, collect data. Because I wanted to say something about, I keep, because I have this issue, and that is like the feeling that I've had a bad meditation versus the feeling that I've had a good meditation, or that while my mind was really nice and quiet tonight, or while I was like full of like a total onslaught of non-stop thoughts, and I need to remember, and because I like to share that with others too, is that to not judge that. Like one isn't better than the other. It's the experience of doing the work that is the meditation. Whatever you notice, you're noticing. And so I did want to say something about that. Like, don't try to achieve the peak experience. And if you had a wonderful experience of feeling of bliss, blissful meditation, to not chase that in subsequent meditations. So that again is something to let go of. Because like everything else, it's impermanent. Your meditation changes just like everything else. And what the Tibetan teachers say a lot is like when you meditate, you do it without hope or fear. So you don't come to the cushion hoping for a good session, hoping you're going to have a nice, still, quiet, passive mind. But you also don't go to the cushion anxious or hey, today was a really tough day, really stressful day. I don't know if I'm going to really be on my game tonight with my meditation. Either one of those is you want to kind of give that up. And I also wanted to kind of say too, and I'll bring this up maybe next time there's people, but that process of resting your awareness and then noticing when your awareness and attention has drifted, when you resolve to come back to your breath. I don't think I've used this term in that context before, but that is what letting go is. You're letting go of those thoughts. you're not trying to push it away. Like I don't necessarily start off like out of the gate saying we're going to let these thoughts go because it could lead you to think, well, I got to chase this thought away. I got to get rid of this thought. No, you're just letting it be, and you're just moving your attention. But in doing so, you're not hitching your wagon. You're not hanging your hat on those other thoughts that come up. And so they naturally release, and that is the letting go part. So that off function, as you get more and more used to being aware of what's arising in your mind in your day-to-day life, you are also going to set yourself up to be able to assess these thoughts. Is this thought a wholesome thought, or is it an unwholesome thought? Is this a helpful thought, or is this an unhelpful thought? And all these things. And when you have that kind of space to slow things down, make that discernment, then you can have an easier time placing it. So if you're spinning out on something negative, you're used to, you've exercised that muscle in resting your attention somewhere else. For instance, on an actual solution to the problem. Or maybe the problem is you're in your imagination, so you can rest your attention on actual feeling that you're having, and then maybe come to some awareness of what's causing that, rather than being taken away by the symptoms. So do a 20-minute shamatha seated, and then we'll do 20 minutes of walking. And we'll use the old meditation after ring the bell at the beginning and at the end. Make sure our posture is comfortably straight, our shoulders are relaxed. Take a couple of deep breaths. Your neck is straight, your head is balanced on your neck. You're not strained to hold it in any position, you're just letting it sit where gravity just has it naturally. Straight. Your hands on your lap, or on your knees, or on your thighs. Tuck in your chin just slightly. Relax your jaw. And with your eyes slightly open, gazing downwards at about 45 degrees. Not focusing on anything visually, but just sort of capturing field vision in your gaze in front of you. I find that doing that with my eyes open, I'm less likely to start daydreaming. My mind will make up its own visual perceptions. So with my eyes open, here I'm just looking at the rugs, and there's nothing so interesting that's going to distract me. So the timer bell will ring in 10 seconds. And Your eyes. Yeah. Okay. And minutes. Sure. We'll just begin, and again, it's just going to be shamatha meditation. Our attention is going to be on the movement of our walking. Bell will ring in a few seconds.
Pūjā. I think that camera was off, or it just froze. For some reason, this camera just freezes. I don't know what it is. The other one, so while we were walking, it never even picked us up.
Oh,
It
no.
was just an empty space. So it's actually, because it's not live, I can edit it. So I'm probably gonna have us like, some, some dude walking or something like that. Then it would be lying, but whatever. Okay, anyway. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavatam Abhivademi. To the blessed one, the worthy one, rightly self-awakened one, I render homage to the Buddha. Sawakato Bhagavata Tammo Dhammang Namasami. To the blessed one's teachings, which he expounded so well, I bow my head to the Dhamma. Subhadipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sangham Namami. To the blessed one's disciples whom I practice so well, I bow my head to the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu. And can you lead the sharing merit?
By this merit,
By this merit,
may all attain omniscient Buddhahood.
may all attain omniscient Buddhahood.
May it defeat the enemy of wrongdoing.
May it defeat the enemy of wrongdoing.
From the stormy waves.
From the stormy waves
Of birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara, may all beings be free.
May all beings be free. Sadhu. Okay, so that ends our session, and we had a big crowd, so there were a lot of questions. Well, we're going to have answered next time going forward. So appreciate everything. Blessings for your help.
Thanks.
And have every blessing. May be happy, may be well. And that was PawAuk Bill, the Kagyu Vajrayana practice. And he's very welcome here, and I hope everybody enjoys guided meditation with him. And can use his guidance for your own liberation as well. So may you all be happy, may you all be well. Sadhu.